And this session has been wonderful. We've covered a whole range of topics from health coverage, from insurance and affordable medicine, combating human trafficking, the importance of gender equality and women's health, the importance of food and hunger, eradicating hunger, and of course protecting invisible children and providing hope for them. And it has been wonderful hearing all the great stories from our speakers, and we have a lot to take back on. I have good news and I have bad news. The bad news is that we are out of time for logistical reasons, and we're going to have to break. The good news is we have lunch, and we can go and break for lunch immediately, but before that we have to take a quick photo, group photo, and Professor Sachs wants to just say something very quickly.
I have worse news. I have to say a few things very, very quickly. Those were not only wonderful presentations, but wonderful leadership, and very deep and very committed and very wise. Not one of you mentioned the Sustainable Development Goals. Not one of you used the term. Agenda 30 was mentioned exactly once. And we're going to work on this because you're missing a set of tools. You're missing a set of advocacy opportunities. You're missing a way to engage. And without it, we can't engage together effectively. So there are a couple of things missing. Not your knowledge, your passion, your effort, your on-the-ground reality, your witness, which are phenomenal, really gifted, and at such a stage of your life, really wonderful, because people usually don't talk like you till you're a lot older and grayer. That's good. Don't lose any of that, because you're advocates and you're missionaries for a better society. And so it's very important that you have those skills, and you've got them at an early stage, not to mention the substance of what you're doing. But you're not using the tools that we're working really hard to have at our joint disposal. The fact that every one of your efforts is already a global commitment but not being fulfilled is a very important point, because this is core to advocacy, it's core to witness, and it's core to achievement. Second, every one of you has to do something hard, which is not only have your own experience, but also have, and not only the aspiration to universalizing that experience, but have an intellectualized, conceptualized understanding of how that experience could be universalized. So the wonderful remarks on universal health coverage, for example, which is SDG 3, and there are a set of specific targets related to that, need to have practical pathways, whether it's operational pathways of community health workers or mobile phones in the hands of health workers, or it's specific interventions to control malaria or to treat encephalitis, or whether it's financial instruments so that it's possible for those families to be covered, because that's also part of the global commitment. So we need to work together effectively, and this is part of our responsibility and our joint effort, so that when you make the presentation, when you make the advocacy, you can say, this is what it's like for this household, This is what it costs. This is how that could be financed. This is what a policy could be to make sure that the child isn't dying because they don't have the pediatric dose of malaria. This is practical because this is what we're doing or this is what this unit's doing, but it's not happening at a sufficient scale. These are the organizations that are responsible but not yet achieving this scale up, so that you have both a personal, moral, and an intellectual and policy perspective. That is what I would like to help to support and cultivate, because this is really how we give the whole panorama. You're witnesses to very powerful things. You're also deploying very powerful tools for solving these problems. You're appealing for more recognition. That's where I come in, say in the Secretary General's office, to say, yes, you're right. Not only are you right, you're the leading voice for this in your communities. But here is what would be possible if your voice and experience is now made general. Here is the missing global fund. Here is the missing financing. Here is the organizational scale up. Here is the network that we need to make this happen. So in the afternoon and tomorrow, I want to hear each time the speaker say, this relates to SDG 4, this is SDG 11, this is target 13.6. So look up and download Agenda 2030, see where you fit in, add it to your remarks, explain how this is the context. I will help you understand the labyrinth of the international system, whether it's WTO or IFAD or FAO or others. I will help you to understand the financial components of this. That's my job. I can tell you where the missing billions are and where we're going to get them also. Because this also is resource question, political power question, mobilization of finances question, and that's what we're going to do together. So what you can do in the afternoon is add in, by the way, I'm SDG 6.4, 8.3, 11.6, 12.4. I've looked it up. I know that the world's already agreed to these things, but they're not doing it. I'm witness on the ground to how these goals can be achieved. And then together, and this isn't just for today and tomorrow, but this is as we leave and then go forward as an army for the SDGs, how we're going to carry this to policy change as well. So that's all I wanted to add this right now. I thought the presentations were fabulous, really, and your voice is not only authentic, but very powerful and very beautifully expressed. So this afternoon, you're going to give us chapter and verse of Agenda 2030. Okay, thanks.